That is right. You read the title correctly. We are doing a tier list, and this tier list is going to be incredibly brutal. Now, before we get started, I want to make a few things apparent. I'm going to be very brutal, which means that if a character ends up in C tier or maybe even D tier, that doesn't mean I dislike them. That just means that they have really high competition, and I don't like them as much as the other ones. So just keep that in mind. And S tier is only going to have one character from each game in it. So everyone's going to be fighting for mostly A and B tiers. And last but not least, this is a tier list. It is my opinion. This is not a tier list based on their power or how good they are. This is just my opinion on how much I like them. I would be more than happy if you all watching this video were to comment down below your tier list or maybe something that you think that I should change. But please keep in mind that it's an opinion. It's okay to have a different opinion. Okay, so let's get started. First off, we have Honkai Star Rail, then we have Wuthering Waves, and then we have Zenless. I'll have time codes underneath if you want to see a very specific game for very specific characters. But yeah, I would also like it to keep in mind for chat. If I put a character in C and D, again, that doesn't mean I dislike them. I like 99% of these characters a lot. I'm just being really brutal so that not everyone's an SNA. Augusta's thighs deserves to be the highest. Augusta will be up there. So we're going to start with the main Trailblazer. There's only one. Technically, there's 3 of them here, but they're dupes. So I think both Trailblazers are going to go in A. I think they're goofballs, and they're really fun. Arlen's going to go in C. I'll give more explanation if people ask, but I also have a lot to get through, so I may not linger too long on some of them. Arlen's in C. I think he's fine in the story. It's just a combination of the fact that I haven't been around him in a while because he was some of the first people you interact with, and the fact that he just sucks in game, so he can't even be relevant in that way. Like, you can still use Tingyun, so even though we haven't seen Tingyun in a while, she can still be prevalent. Arlen just kind of sucks as a character to play, and then unfortunately we just haven't been back to the Herta space station outside of Sim Universe. So I'm gonna put Asta. I'm thinking A or B because she was my most used character for a year, for my first year playing the game. And she's one of the best characters in the Herta space station, which, to be fair, isn't very many. I think I'll put her in B. Asta's really good. She's one of the best 4-star supports in the game, and she's just really easy to use. Speed for her ult's always really nice. But yeah, I think it's I'm gonna try and fight recency bias too, but it's also just really hard. We don't get to see Asta very much anymore either. She is in some events though, which helps. So I want to put her in B. Maybe A. Maybe A. We'll come back to this when all of this is done, and we'll kind of like skim through it and see if there's anything that needs to be shifted around at the end. Bailu. Could put Bailu in C tier. She's just not good in game. So you don't ever really use her in combat. And then on top of the fact that, again, we don't see her very often anymore. Bronya's A tier. I have a huge soft spot for all of Belobog. And Bronya, I think, is one of the best characters from Belobog. Clara also. Clara slash Svarog. I kind of tend to think of them together, even though Svarog can be separate. He's in the MOC a lot, and then he was also in the event with Luca. But yeah, I think Dongheng's a really cool character. I really like him. It's one of those situations where this form specifically is just not used because it's not good. So like, if this was all of his forms, it'd probably go up to A, but I think Imbiber's in here somewhere, so for now we'll keep him in B. Mini Herta, I'm gonna put him in B tier. I like Mini Herta a lot, but the big Hertas... And also, I'd like to mention, the tier list is not in order, so it's like, I don't like Trailblazer more than Bronya. It's just in A. So all these characters in A are just in A. It's not ranked in order either, because that would be significantly harder to do. So yeah, we're not gonna worry about it. Himiko. I think Himiko deserves A, maybe B, probably. I don't know, because it's like, obviously the Astral Express crew is gonna rank really high because we're around them so much, and they've gotten the most character development. But I think Himiko's safe in A. I'm gonna put Gepard. I'm gonna put him in C. I like Gepard a lot as a character, but it's one of those things where he's literally just beta adventuring. He's just not as good as adventuring, so if you have adventuring, you don't want to use him. And then you have sustains like Hyacinth and Linksha, so like gameplay wise, he's just not used at all. He's like okay, you can make him work. And then lore wise, He's from Belobog, so I have a soft spot for Belobog, but he's also just kind of there to act as a counter for you while you're in Belobog, and then eventually he just kind of step aside. That's really about it. Pitch Dark Hook the Great. So yeah, I think it's just another one of those things. 4-stars are really hard to make work, especially if they're main DPS. And with her being from Belobog, we don't get the opportunity to really interact with her very much anymore. So although I really like her a lot, I mean, like her entire character thing stuck out quite a bit. I remembered her catchphrase of Pitch Dark Hook the Great, but we're gonna put her in C tier. Now, March is an easy A tier. I absolutely adore March. She's the poster, like literally she's the icon of HSR. So I really like March. Her second form's not on here because I tried to keep characters that have had banners or having banners come out. So like Suridra's on here. Her banner's not technically out just yet, but it's coming, and we've seen her in story. So, you know. And then we also have Monato because we've seen him in story and we've got to interact with him a lot. His banner is also coming. Natasha, I'm gonna put in B tier. I mean, she had a really huge impact on the story, being the leader of Wildfire, and then also me personally, before they introduced Lynx and put her as a free character in MOC, she was my go-to sustain unit. So I used her for quite a while until they introduced Lynx. And I remember her clutching up, especially against Farog at the early parts of the game because I didn't have a main DPS, so I just kind of had to out-sustain him. And Natasha did that, which is nice. Pella. Gonna put Pella in C tier. This would probably go up if I used Acheron, because then I would have a reason to use Pella a lot more than I do, which is never. And she was fun. I think the most prominent memory I have of Pella was doing the Museum event, which was a fine event. And we got to learn more about Belobog's history, but it didn't really have too much to do with Pella. It was more about managing the museum. Qinghua, I mean, gamble. Everyone likes gambling. And then she was also my actual first DPS. She was my first DPS that I like hard committed to for a really, really long time. Pella character quest was great. I don't remember her character quest. I know she kind of shared one with Linksha. Not Linksha. That's different. Lynx. Or was that just Pella's? Searching for this old relic in the snow areas, and then they get to watch the Aurora Borealis. Or was that Lynx's? I can't remember. Yep, that was the one. That's where Pella found out. You know what? That's actually facts. She's going in B. I thought that was more of a Lynx thing, but if that was Pella's, then that's definitely gonna bump her up to B. Okay, Sampo, Gas. I'm gonna put him in B. I think B's good for Sampo. He's one of those characters where if you play Belobog, you're replaying Belobog for nostalgia, being able to see the characters again, and just the simpler fights, I think. And Sampo's one of those characters that you're like, hey, I know what that snow pal looks like. That's Sampo. I know who's in there. Serval, I think Serval can also go in B tier. I use Serval quite a bit because, again, I had this weird era at the start of the game where I didn't have a main DPS. I just kind of had to out-sustain and slowly chip through all of my fights. And Serval helped, especially with all of the enemies in Belobog, either being weak to fire for Asta or weak to electric for Serval. So she ended up helping quite a bit. Susheng. Susheng's kind of unfortunate. I really like her as a character, but with her being a 4-star, she's not given a lot of the limelight. I think the most we really got out of Susheng was the spooky event in HSR where we hunted ghosts with Huahua and Hanya. Tingyun's going in A. Technically this might be Fentilia, I don't know, but for the sake of this tier list, this is Tingyun. I really like Tingyun. She was, because my original team consisted of Asta, Tingyun, Qinghe, or however you pronounce this one, and Natasha / Lynx. So she was really good. She allowed her to get more gamble, which everyone was gambling. And she's just a really good support. You could even use her today, and she works in some team comps. But Welt, I think Welt's going in B tier. I really wish they'd give him opportunity to shine. Like, the only time he went out on the Astral Express with us was in the Luofu. And even then, we spent some of our time away from Welt, so we didn't even really get to see him shine. Technically, everyone was out of the Express in Penacony, but the Trailblazer was so detached from the crew most of the time, we didn't get to see him shine either. Especially since a lot of the people who played Impact 3rd know mostly what he's capable of, so I really just want to see him be him. Laughs. Okay, there's no way. The only thing saving Yangqing from D tier is because he's actually a really good character, and I feel bad for him because he keeps being paired against the 1% that can actually beat him, because in lore, he's actually pretty strong. they just keep putting him against the 1% that's like way too freaking powerful. The only, like, the reason why he's so low is because I like his character. He's funny, he's goofy, but I never want to see him on my account. Ever. Ever. And then Sela, I'm gonna put Sela in D tier. I like her character a lot. It's kind of interesting. Once you get far enough into Belobog, these two kind of mesh, and she falls a lot to the wayside, and Bronya kind of takes charge, which makes sense. She's the one that ends up taking Dracolia's spot, so like it makes sense to give her character. But like once these two meet, they kind of become one character, and they're like intertwined, which is interesting. I'm gonna put the general in C tier. I like the general. He takes a backstep in the main Lafu story, and he has some really cool moments with the Lightning Lord. But he's just not very prominent. He's probably going to be more prominent when they finally start to do something with Jingliu, because like they've had that sitting as like a little egg for a little over a year now, and they still haven't done anything with it. So maybe once that happens and we're able to learn more about Blade, there's a Vibrant Lune, like those kinds of characters, he probably will go up to B. He's just kind of there. He's the mentor of Yangqing. Silverwolf? Silverwolf's one of those weird characters where she was introduced early in the game and she was really good. Then she fell off. Then she got a buff. Now she's really good again. Where she's around us a lot in events because she's like the gamer, air quote, gamer. But we don't get much sustenance out of her because it's all events. We haven't really seen her in main story in a really, really long time. As she should be, because her kit was originally, before she came out, really broken. And then they kind of nerfed her into what she was when she released. And then they kind of like just gave her kit back, which is kind of goofy. But I don't know if I should put her in C or B. What should I put her in, chat? Because I like her. I have her. I don't have a reason to use her, but I do have her. And we do get to see her a lot in events. Although there's not a lot of sustenance because it's just like, oh, I'm the toughest opponent in this arcade event that you have. And it's Silverwolf, because who'd have thought? So we get to see her a lot, but we don't get much about her as a character. I think B works. Luocha, I'm gonna put him in C tier. Luocha's also one of those characters that's like they set up the first time we went to the Lafu, and then proceeded to not do anything with him. So I'm assuming we go back to the Lafu. Wasn't Luocha a part of Dong Hung stuff? Yes. So Luocha was a part of the Lafu when we first went there, not when we came back. And a lot of the stuff that they did when we first went there is set up for something coming later on down the line with Jingliu, Luocha. So I think he'll go up when we get that payoff, because right now it's just kind of sitting there dangling and we don't know anything about it. Yukong, I think Yukong is going to go in B tier. Her story sticks out to me a lot, where with her adopted kid of her best friend that unfortunately passed away in a star skiff battle. So I think that's really, really cool. Outside of that one event, though, she's not really useful in game. So I don't know. Maybe I do put her in C tier. Maybe I put her in C tier, because the only really thing that I have memorable about her is the character quest. Because like gameplay, she's kind of meh, and then in the overarching story, she's just kind of there. She doesn't really do too much, but her character story is really good. So maybe I think C is probably better for her. I think Blade might be like scraping A, because again, I think Blade's one of those characters that's a part of the Lafu problem, where if we get more payoff, he'll go up, but we don't have payoff. But he's also a part of the Stellar Hunter, so we know more about him than the other ones. I'm gonna put him in B. I think like most of the Lafu characters will go up, but I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone knew where that was going. I don't think I need to explain that choice. There was no option other than S. Favorite character. I'm gonna put Luca in B. I think Luca stood out a lot in Belobog, where I can remember most of his story, like from the Fight Club to his war dance like ceremony thing where he goes and he fights on behalf of Belobog by General Jingyuan's invitation. Empire de Lune, I'm gonna put Fushuan in C tier. It's just another one of those. It'll probably go up when we get more about the character, but right now they just kind of like dangled a nice little lore in front of us and then yanked it away. So when the payoff happens, she'll go up. I think Lynx is gonna go in B. Like I said, she's the healer that I used the longest until I got a 5-star, so I really like Lynx. It was also really nice that they gave her to us for free, so I ended up using her for quite a long time. I don't know if Jingliu goes in C or B tier. because I really like Jing Liu. I have her. I think you can put D tier for Fu Xuan. Really? I would like to hear both of your answers. Lance and Cantos, if you don't mind. Assuming that D tier doesn't mean D tier does not mean I dislike the character. No, all of these tiers mean I like the character. Because again, I like every character in this game. I don't think that they make bad characters. D tier is just like I don't feel anything about them at all. It's also interesting. If you want Arlen, you're fine with Arlen and C, but you want I mean, I can understand some of your reasoning. She's just kind of she does help March a little bit, so we get more of her personality there. While Fushuan is kind of nice as a character, we never got anything from her. She was always the side character to other people's. Yeah, I'll put her in D. She kind of gets overshadowed, which is going to happen to another character coming up later on. I'll have that same gripe, so that's fair. I think that's fair. Although Arlen doesn't get much, he's his own dude. We get to see him outside of Asta, so that's fair. Okay. I also think I'm gonna put Jing Liu in C. Like, she's cool. I like her, but we don't get anything. We don't. She like shows up, gets put in prison. Well, she shows up, beats Yang because everyone fights Yang, and then gets put in jail. So like, I don't know if we will get anything more out of her. I really hope we do. Topaz. I think C tier. I don't use her in game, which is kind of one of those interesting things. A lot of the characters that I play are going to go up higher because I get to interact with them more, and I made the choice of like getting these characters. But I like Topaz a lot. I think she's like morally wise, Yukong and C. Gameplay wise, she's kind of meh. I cried during her quest? I mean, okay, yeah, I did, but is that one quest worth going up an entire tier when the rest of her's kind of meh? Because like the quest is good, but her in the main quest was just kind of there, which is fair. There was a lot to do in that main quest, especially for setup. And then as a playable character, you don't really use Yukon. So you think she should go in B? But I did cry during her quest, which a lot of character quests didn't make me do that. I like my games. I get invested in my games. I will cry. Absolutely. Okay, I did cry during her quest. I'll bump her up to B tier. Gwynafin. I think Gwynaffin's going to go in B. I think she's one of the few Lawfu characters that, especially since she was introduced in the second half when we come back, I think. She has a lot of character story. We also get to see a lot of her in the spooky event where we get to go and hunt quests. So I think she's really cool. She's also an influencer, so she comes back and we can interact with her a little bit in the war dance event with Hule. So she's definitely going in B tier. Hua. I think Hua and Tails is pretty cool. We do get a character quest with Hua, which is really interesting about like Shikigami. I don't know if she goes in B though. Maybe she goes in C. I don't know, because it's like I feel like Hua is one of those characters that we have learned what we need to learn about her. Like, it's not mysterious like the general, where we can learn a lot more about him and flesh him out. We pretty much understand the kind of character that Hua is, especially after the quest. No C. Yeah, I can see C. I'll put her in C for now. Again, at the end, we'll kind of take one last glance over and we'll kind of make some last minute adjustments as needed. Because I really don't know. I can see Hua going in B or C. Because I'm trying to be really stingy with where I put these characters, but I also don't want to be too stingy to the point that everyone's in C. Okay, well, there you go, gotcha. I'll put her in B. Because again, I could see her being in either one. Sushane, Gwen, and Hua all the same tier for me because of the event. Yeah, like, the event's really good. I did really like that event. That event was a really good one. Yeah, I'll put her in B. Because I could see her going in either tier. Argenti. Argenti's one of those weird ones where he kind of just showed up. He had a really good character quest, and then he just doesn't. He just kind of like mysteriously shows up for a lot of the combat like events, which is kind of funny. He also shows up in Yung Lee's character quest a little bit. Not really a character quest, but like the ending with the forgery quest for March. So he's going to be interesting to rank. He's going to be very interesting to rank. With that said, I think Argenti's going to go in B tier. I always like when he shows up. He's always funny to read his text for. I even tried voicing his lines a few times while I was streaming, and they always ended it in dumpster fires, but they were fun. Argenti is literally Giga Chad, shows up to do something really important off screen, refuses, literally what he does. I love it. And then he's like, because it was beautiful, and it's like a potted plant in the corner, and he just takes it with him. I love Argenti. He's great. Actually, we're putting him in A. He's so goofy. I love Argenti. Okay, Hanya. I think Hanya's gonna go in C. I think you're also gonna go and see. These two as a pair, I just kind of didn't. I understand them. We get to know some about them, but they got overshadowed a lot, and I didn't find them super interesting. Hanya is in the Ghost Hunt quest, but she's more of a like the bookkeeper that we just happen to pick to help. So I definitely like Hanya more than the android. I don't even know how to say her name because her name's really complicated. But I think C tier is good for both of them. Oh, Ruin Mei? Oh, heck yeah. Ruin Mei's going. Pop. Boop. Ruin Mei's going in A tier. There's no question. Literally lower than Fu Xuan? I can understand her being in D tier. Because I literally cannot tell you anything that she does. I don't know anything about this character, which means that either they're just not memorable or they just got buried underneath a bunch of other characters. But I think Hanya can stay in C because she was a part of the Ghost Hunt quest, and that quest was really good. So Dr. Ratio, I think he's gonna go in B tier. I like Ratio, especially since they gave him out for free, which is really cool. But yeah, I think Ratio can go in B. I might start picking up the pace a little bit. Black Swan's gonna go in A. Premium dot team I use a lot, and she was pretty interesting in Penacony's life cycle. I'm gonna put Misha in B. Him being the clockmaker was like a huge reveal. That was I did not expect that in the slightest. So I think that was really cool. But yeah, I think B tier's justified. I think Sparkle can go in B tier as well. The very ending part with the bombs was kind of completely unneeded. But everything else throughout the story was pretty cool. I like Sparkle a bit from that, and her gameplay is pretty unique. Do that. Akron's going in A tier because it's. I mean, I don't think I need to. Gallagher is also in A tier. He's absolutely good at sustain, and he's also just a really cool character. Him being I can't remember the exact word. Oh, a mimetic entity. With him being a mimetic entity was also a huge reveal that made me really sad. I don't want to just front load A, but it's kind of interesting. HSR has gotten better and better at making their characters. So I think Adventurine's gonna go in A. I really liked his character quest. Not really character quest, but like main quest. I really liked his story. He was really good. B. I don't know. Like he was one of those things that it was like he was defying fate and he was gambling with his life to see what it was worth living for. And then he even fought Nihility. So like I think A is better. Boot Hill. I mean, Boot Hill cannot be on screen and not make you smile because of all of his fork words that he uses. Everyone loves Boot Hill's so goofy. Robin, I think this is gonna be hard because now I'm gonna I think Robin also goes in S or A tier. She's one of my favorite characters from Penacony. Her and Sunday's like duality was really cool. Boot Hill's what I like to, right? Firefly would also be one of those characters that should go in S, but because of the rules, she's going in A. But she's one of my favorite characters in the game, period. I'm gonna put Jade in C tier. She is a bad character, but she's supposed to be like a morally bad character. So I think the game gets points for that. Jade takes care of orphans. Like, that's fair. I'll put her in B tier. She's a character that I don't think we're supposed to like, but when a game has a character that you're not supposed to like and makes you dislike them, I think that gives the character points. Like that helps. It's in her signature art. Yeah, so I think that she gets points for one, taking care of orphans because that's nice, and then two, she's a character that we're probably not supposed to immediately like, and they do a good job establishing her character. Yunli, I think it's gonna go. She gets more character development than some of the characters in the Lafu. I just don't know if it's warranted a B. Chad, do you think it's okay to put her in C? I think she's C. What do you guys think? I think C. I'm getting a lot of C's. I have one B. I have one C. I have one C. I don't know. I'll leave her in C for now. She might go up. She gets more character development than most of the Lafu characters, and she was March's mentor, which is pretty cool. We'll come back to her. She's going to be one of those characters we come back to. Jiao Chao, but she has a BF. That's a good point. She does have a BFS. You alright? B. Okay. Yeah, she does have a B. Yeah, there you go. BFS makes up for it. Jiao Chao, I honestly don't know where to put him. I liked his character, but obviously like him and Mose both existed to support Fei Xiao, so they didn't get as much screen time, but Jiao Chao got more than Mose, so I think he go D rank. What D? See, really? Why D? I mean, like, yeah, Feixiao really stifled these two, but I mean, like, I can put Mose in D. I think that that's fair. I didn't really feel anything with him. I didn't really feel anything up until the end. He's a cook. He's a cook, but he also poisoned his own blood to help weaken Hule so that they could win. And then, like, obviously he also went blind. But I mean, like, but that's also like the only thing that he did. I think C's fine. I definitely can't put him any higher than C though. March Hunt's also going up there. But yeah, I mean, like, I already gave a huge spiel about March. Everyone likes March. Feixiao, I think I can put in A. Like, all of the animations that she's in is really, really cool. Her character story is really interesting. How she ties into the Borson is also really nice. And she's also an emanator who doesn't want her Aeon to do what it's doing, which is kind of funny. Okay, this might be a little weird, but I'm gonna put Lingshin B tier. She's really good in game, and I use her on most of my team. I think Lingshin's really good, but she's relatively new in the Lafu story, so she hasn't had much time to be her own character. So she's one of those characters where her gameplay is really high ranking, but her character has yet to do much. So I think B tier is like the evened out part, because it's like gameplay she's S, character wise she's like a C. So I think B is a good middle ground. Rappa. I'm gonna put Rappa in B. I don't know if B or A. I don't know, because I like her story a lot. She has ties to Boot Hill, and she has really goofy interactions with all the cast, which is nice. Her backstory was really good. I personally don't have her, so I can't comment on her gameplay. I would put her in B. I think B is a good spot for Rappa. I mean, she is the best break character in the game. Sunday. A tier. Really good character, really good support. Some of the best character development HSR has ever seen. Moving on. Fuwei. I think Fuwei goes in A, because like this is just Tingyun plus, right? Assuming that this version of Tingyun's not Fintilia. This is all the things I like about Tingyun from a character perspective, but she's in Break, and I like playing Break. So the Herta. I mean, it's the Herta. She's, I believe, my third favorite character, because it goes Kafka, Firefly. I think it's the Herta now. Yeah, that's probably what it is. So I really like the Herta. I like both versions of Herta. I think Aglaya is getting a B tier. I think Euphoria's really cooked with their characters. The problem is that I don't have a Remembrance character at all, outside of the Trailblazer, of course. And I also don't have, so I just don't have the playstyle. How? What do you mean how? Do you think she should go higher? Gotcha. Okay, well then let me explain. So I think Aglaya is really good in the story, but one, I've heard that her gameplay isn't super good. But since I don't have it, I don't want to judge her too much on her gameplay. But yeah, I think B is a good spot. Like story wise, she's cool. She does do a lot of the nitty gritty stuff. I think Triby's A. Like, but fragmenting yourself into 1,000 pieces and waiting thousands and thousands of years for the second Crisis era to like come around is really crazy. And then just the whole thing with Chibi, Trinos, and Trian was really, really sad. So definitely deserving of A tier. Definitely. Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse is the definition of I didn't hear a bell. And I love those kinds of characters. Absolutely love those kinds of characters. So yeah, I think he's just a really cool character. I think Castris is also an A tier, S tier. Unfortunately, gotcha, I'm only allowing one character in S tier per game. And that S tier is occupied by Kafka. Anox is in B tier. I think they, at the beginning, when he first was introduced, they tried to make him seem really smart by making his words bloated and really wordy. And then the further we got in the story, the less they bloated his words and they made it feel more natural. And then even in the event where you do cooking, his cooking part is hilarious. But they made him an actual caring character who's willing to make sacrifices for those he cares about and his people. Yeah, I mean, they made that apparent too. He's just a little bit eccentric. But yeah, so I think B. Hyacinth, I think Hyacinth deserves B. Like, I guess Hyacinth's one of those characters where I have nothing bad to say about her, but I'm also struggling to say very many noteworthy things. Like, her fight was really cool with Aquila, so I don't know. I think B is... You think C? Like, she's a good character in-game, like, as a character to play. She's very strong, she's very good. But as a story character, she's kind of just the token, oh, I'm the doctor, I care about everyone. Which you could argue is also Natasha, and Hyacinth's situation is worse. Hyacinth is wholesome without being overly cute. You know, that's a really good way to put it. She's just wholesome and caring. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. I don't think she's gonna go into C tier. I think she's good in B. I don't want to put her any lower because I do like Hyacinth. She's just a really stable character. Cypher, legitimately, I considered for S. If it weren't for Kafka's existence, Cypher would probably be the one in S tier. She has the best story in Inforius, no questions asked, period. No debate. She has the best story in Inforius. And if we end up getting more of her, she may end up surpassing Herta in my top 3 favorite characters. But yeah, no, Cypher, so freaking good. Cypher is one of my favorite characters. She's so cool. Out of all of Inforius, Cypher is S tier in Inforius without competition. Cypher is the best character to happen in Inforius. The best character. I had tears in my very rarely. Okay, yeah, that's true. Actually, that's true. Let's tone down the glazing a little bit. Castrus also has a really good story. Hers is also really well done. But Castrus is also wholesome. But like, the whole payoff with Cypher, it was just so good. Cypher was so good. Okay, moving on before I continue to talk about Cypher. Phanon, I think Phanon's also A. I mean, like, he's like the main character of Inforius outside of the main character. So I really like him a lot. His whole story is just kind of sad, but also kind of really cool. Saber, I think Saber and Archer are deserving of A. Maybe that is my hot take that I didn't like. I definitely think Cypher's story was better than Cass. I think Cypher had that huge, like, what moment because you didn't expect it to be what it was. But Castrus you could kind of tell where it was going to go, but that didn't necessarily take away from the story. But I can definitely understand why some people wouldn't like it because it was pretty predictable. Now, these two are going to be hard because, like, Suridra's technically not on banner yet, but I left her in here because we've seen stuff about her. She's in the character story, and she's played a huge role already, but I don't know how to feel about her. At the start, I didn't like Suridra, and I think that was by design. Like, I think we were supposed to not like her, but then later on, she kind of does a nice thing for Hysolins, which is a W. But at the same time, it was because she couldn't continue her chess game because she just wanted to keep trying to conquer stuff. A tier? I don't think I can put her in A tier. I can maybe squeeze her into B tier, but I'm considering C tier. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I'm considering C tier. B, I can probably put her in B, but I don't know, because it's kind of like similar to how Jade works. Jade is a character you're supposed to not like, but they do it well, so that gives her points. But Suridra, I don't know if we're supposed to like her or not. I can't tell. Yeah, I'll put her in B, and then, but I don't know. I'll put her in B. We'll probably revisit her. She may go down into C, probably, but for now we can put her in C, or in B. Okay, Hysolins. I left her last just for Zeka. Where do I put Hysolins? It's definitely not C and D. Definitely not. Hysolins literally said in that one spot, singing her song for thousands of years, waiting for a return, singing her siren song, clinging onto the tiny sliver of hope that one day the deliverer returns. Yeah, but you could also say that about all of Inforius. Like, all of Inforius characters were just doing the best that they could, especially Phanon, repeating 33,313 and 518 cycles. But yeah, I'm not saying that to her detriment, though. I don't want to say that to her detriment. I think Hysolins, I agree with you, Cantos. I really do. I think that whole story. Okay, I'm gonna put her in B tier. I think Hysolins was a good character trapped in a really crappy story. Like, the whole story, I think the story overall was fine, but because Hysolins existed to just do whatever Suridra wanted her to do, and the fact that I don't like Suridra very much is her detriment. And it's like, yes, Hysolins did kind of just wait for 1,000 years, but she didn't even do that of her own volition. She did it because Suridra told her to. So throughout the entire time of seeing Suridra, she's just doing what she's told. There's no character to do that with. And even when in the dining hall scene where she goes against Suridra to let us see into the siren song, Suridra told her to do that too. So there's no character there. Everything she does is by Suridra, and I don't like Suridra very much. Hysolins is a good character trapped in a shit story. It's very accurate for most. I think Inforius as a whole is good. It does have a lot of pacing issues, which is, fair. Cypher Story is really good. I think I will amend that. I said The Herd is my third favorite. It's probably Cypher at this point. Maybe even my second. Cypher's really good. Taking a step back and looking at this before we go into Wuthering Waves, so we can spruce this up. I don't think this is anything major I want to change here. I think all these are pretty good, actually. Yeah, I think this is good. Okay, so going on to Wuthering Waves, I think both rovers are absolutely based. I think they're great. And the problem with 1.0 characters in Wuthering Waves is that I was so focused on doing the story, I didn't really get a chance to really exist with these characters for a long time. So for most of that, I'm gonna go, you're in that, you're fine. I like seeing you a lot. I haven't gotten much of you out of it. You're kind of there for the div. You're there for Black Shores. You help us get there to Black Shores, and you're kind of interesting, especially your pairing with Encore is really interesting. Danjin's also going to go. I don't think I've actually seen Danjin yet. No, I have. I have seen Danjin. The problem is that I did so much story so fast. I can't remember much about the 1.0 characters, and I don't want to be mean. I want to be brutal, but I don't want to be, like, unfair. So I do remember a little bit about Danjin, and I'm sure that I have a character quest that I just haven't done anything yet. Mortefi, probably. So I do want to specify for this part of the tier list, this is probably the part where I'm most shaky, where I can see most of the characters I just ranked go up or down, because I'm so vague on the 1.x characters since I kept putting more and more time into the story, where if I played since day one, I would have more time to really get to know the characters. So I want to specify that one. Sana was going in A. She's great in the story. I remember all of her bits. And she was my day one. She was one of my day one characters that I used on my teams. So absolutely love Sanhua. I don't think I remember Taichi being at like the big finale of the main quest, but I haven't seen her past that, so I'm gonna put her in C. Again, I don't remember much, so she could go up once I get to her quest. Varen is also going in A because I absolutely love her. So is Yang Yang. Yang Yang is the goat of 1.x. I love Yang Yang. Once we get to the 5 stars, I'll have a better feeling of what's going on. So Gacha, why do you think this guy should go in D? Okay, Sega. We just need a cat girl. Nobody uses him. This isn't. I mean, that's fair. I can argue C tier. Because I really don't know much about him story wise, and I don't want to hold that against him because it's my fault. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you say, I'll trust your opinion because again, I don't know much. Okay, General G1. I can put him in B tier. A lot of the 1.x characters, again, have this problem where it's like, once we get to 2.0, I'm going to be very opinionated. But for 1.x, I just went so fast. I don't really know. I did get to use you a lot in the train event, and I did do your character quest, so I actually do quite like Yinlin. I'll put her in A. Jinshi's also in A. She's based. We love Jinshi. Also, Changli. Oh, I don't use you. I don't have him. I don't remember much about him either. He's another one where I don't know too much about him because I can't remember. I'm supposed Ling Yang is in C. He's in C tier. Where is he? There we go. I've rectified my mistake. But we can come back after. Absolutely. Jeshi. This is honestly one of those characters that I don't think I met yet. Or if I have met, I don't remember it. And I haven't done her character quest because I have a backlog of those. I know her playstyle. I know her playstyle because I've used her in a lot of events. I use her with Carlotta. She's quite fun. But yeah, I think B's fine. Shorekeeper is definitely going in A tier. She's one of the S contenders, so there's no doubt about it. You're going in C. You're a fine character. That's really about it though. You're just a fine character. S. No, there's an S character coming up. There's an S character. Yeah, I mean, you all probably know what the S character is, but so you just take a quick glance. Now we're getting into the characters that I actually really know. So now I'm going to be able to actually talk on them. Lumi, I think I like Lumi a lot because and everyone has this. Lumi's really interesting because I think every person who plays Wuthering Waves is like this, where they're like, oh, she's just a cute little mouse, and then she speaks and it's like, oh, you are like super Scottish, and it's so funny. I love the accent.
We promise, we deliver. Lolo Logistics is at your service. Is there anything I can help you?
You just would not expect the voice to come out of that model. It's great. There we go. I don't think I need to elaborate. She's my favorite. Phoebe's also going to go in A tier. I think Phoebe A. Yeah, definitely Phoebe A. Brant? I don't know. I do like Brant. I think I'll do Rosha B, Brant A. And then Carlotta's also A. Cantarella. I think I'm going to put her in B tier. The mouse starts speaking. I'm Scottish. It's so funny. The voice out of her mouth is so good. I love it. A. I can see A or B. Honestly, I liked her character. The problem with Shakona is that her character quest was like in a book event kind of style, so there was a lot of reading. When I'm trying to stream it, it's not as interesting for chat because it takes away my ability to talk with them because I have to read. Even if I read in goofy voices, it's not as interesting. And because of it, I don't remember her story very well because I'm not able to retain as much information because of my division, because my attention's split between chat and what I'm doing. So I think B is good. Cardathea is absolutely an A. I think Lupa, I'm gonna put Iona in B because we don't know too much about her yet, but I like what I've seen so far. Augusta's going in A because her story quest is great. I think I know your ZZC S tier. Who is it? I think we're gonna put Lupa in A. The tier list just got so much bigger so fast. I did kind of speed through Wuthering Waves, but Wuthering Waves is significantly smaller than HSR when it comes to character wise. And again, I'm really familiar with characters in the 2 update forward. I do feel a little bad that I sped through Wuthering Waves, but I if I don't have anything to say on them, I don't want to try and force myself to say anything. Fulova is also A tier. Miyabi has to be S. Miyabi might be. Okay, so now we're here in Zenless. An hour and 24 minutes in, we're going on to Zenless. Belle and Wise are in A. Billy. I really like Billy, but I need to be slightly stingy because Zenless is one of those games where I could legitimately put everyone in A and it would make sense to me. I think Billy's going in A with that said. So is Ambi. Everyone, I mean, like, it's the starter guys. Like, you can't not put Billy and Ambi in A. They're so cool. Who doesn't like the Starlight Knights #1 fan? Okay, Ben Bigger, I'm gonna put in B. I like Ben, but like gameplay wise, he's so slow and he's not exceptionally good. I'm gonna put Anton in B as well. I have not used him in the game. I like Anton a lot as a character. He's also a very good voice actor. But I know that there was a bug with him at the beginning of the game where you could just constantly have his spike do electric damage, which allowed you to perma-stun enemies. And so that's how some Chinese players were clearing endgame for the first time at like day 1. So recently there was a Chinese survey and Belobog was the worst faction. I think that that's fair. The only problem, because it's like, one, Zenless has such a high bar for standards with characters because they're all really good. And the fact that Belobog just kind of got smashed in between Victoria Housekeeping and the Cunning Hairs. They didn't really get a lot of time to like do anything because it was like Cunning Hairs, Belobog really quick, then we're going to go over to this. Anton is funny, CT. Chet's brutal, but sure, I get it. Okay, sure, Cantos. I want to put Ben in D because someone has to, but I think he can't. I love, like, character-wise, Ben is literally a teddy bear, which is, you know, that's the bit. He's a teddy bear. But anyway. 8B for bear. The only thing I remember about Belobog is that corruption. Yeah, because like Belobog is just kind of gets the short end of the stick where it's so fast. You're not there very long, and you don't really do too much with the characters. Just like, I guess we'll keep on Belobog and we'll go to these two. So I think Grace has had some recent character stories and like limited events that she gets to show up in, so I think she's higher than C. But I don't think I can warrant her going in A. Because I like her. Gameplay wise, she's not the strongest, especially when you have anomaly characters like Miyabi to deal with. So I think A, B, or C. Probably I'll say C. Because like main story wise, like Belobog just kind of gets steamrolled, which is unfortunate for them. But she does show up in some events. But I don't know. Her personality is quirky enough. Okay, Corrin, A tier. First DPS. My first team was Rena, Corrin, and Ambi. Love those 3 characters. And Victoria Housekeeping is, I think it's my second favorite faction at this point, but it was my favorite for a long time. I find Ben has more personality than Grace. I mean, they're both in B tier. Like, yeah, wasn't that into Grace, but she is funny. C tier. Okay, I mean, I can see her in B or C, so can't say everything about her. I haven't seen much of her. That is true. She does have a new VA, so like the old voice. I use her semi-frequently. Depending, I actually used her a lot before I got Chifufu. I think she goes at B. Gameplay wise, okay, yes, the reason why Corrin's an A is because 1, I used her as my first DPS on my first ever team. Okay, so there's some nostalgia. And then 2, character wise, she's so freaking adorable. Like, she's so awesome. This might be a hot take. I'm gonna put Lucy in B. Kaleda's new VA makes her feel like it's true, actually. Lucy has one of the best. I mean, yeah, that's fair. Her VA is very good. Her characters, I'll put her in A. I'm trying to be slightly stingy because it looks really big, but that's not really fair to Zenless, so I'll cut that out. Okay, Lycon. Okay, here's the problem where I legitimately want to put all of Victoria Housekeeping in A. Is that fair to do, chat? Is that fair if I put all of Victoria Housekeeping in A? Lycon is Lycon. Lycon is Lycon A. Fair enough. No further questions. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't like Nekomata. Of course, Maid Faction is goated. Let's go. But I'm gonna keep it 100%. I don't like Nekomata. She's like okay in story, but there's nothing like super interesting about her. And she is, in my opinion, the worst PD character. Worst PD character. ZZZ is an S tier game, so yes, ZZZ is gonna have most of its cast top heavy. Absolutely. Just like Wuthering Waves. B or C. I really don't think I can put. There's no shot. There's no shot. People want. No, I'm sorry, Chad. I'm gonna overroll this. Nekomata goes in D tier. There's no. Now Nicole is going in A tier because it's Nicole. Like, come on. She literally works really, really, really hard and donates most of her money to orphanages. Like, come on. That's awesome. That's so wholesome. Lucy, I kind of want to put in C tier because unlike this isn't Lucy. Piper, sorry. Piper. Piper, unlike Lucy, doesn't have too much personality. Like, she's tired. That's like the only thing going for her, I think. She has personality, but she's just overshadowed by Lucy. A lot of the times when we meet her, she's either with Lucy or with someone else. So she doesn't have much individual personality, which is kind of fair. The Sons of Caledonia is the biggest faction, so no B. Really? If you can give me a good reason, I'll put her in B. Gotcha, lover. She is so kind. I mean, like, but you could say that about every character in ZZZ. Most every character in ZZZ. I don't know. I don't know if I really just don't know if I can put her in any. I don't think I can get her. I don't think I can take her out of D tier. I just don't think it's possible. I'm sorry, chat. Okay, Soldier. See, honestly, when the game first came out, I'd put her in D tier because she just had nothing for such a long time. But now that we're finally getting Section 6, I think she's gonna go in B tier. It's not like Neko's bad. Like, her story's not bad. It's just, it wasn't the best. And to be fair, it was 1.0, so like they were starting to hit their stride. And Soldier 11's D tier? Really? I mean, like, I'm not gonna put her in A tier because it's like she's Ambi, but she likes spicy noodles. Now the fact that she's Ambi is really cool. So that's because everyone likes Ambi, but their personalities are different enough to be there to not really have that carrier too high. She's just like spicy noodles. I can't cope. I mean, the new VA is true. It does sound a little weird. But do I want to judge a character based off of... I mean, like, a part of their character is their voice. I'll put her in C tier. Because I have a distinct memory of after finishing her quest, I was like, that was really mysterious. I did really like her quest. Just a body pillow. I mean, I can understand that. There's no shot Rena's not good. Rena's also one of those ones that could have gone in S if it weren't for a different character coming up very soon. I think Sakaku can go in B. Sakaku's just one of those characters that she's just kind of goofy and in a good way. So if she's in a character quest, I'm happy because she's there because she's goofy. She's nice. But I'm also not gonna go like, really wish Sakaku was here. So I think B's a good one. And gameplay wise, she has a lot of versatility with her being a support character. Rena did get a good new VA. I've been playing Rena since literally day one of launch, and she's one of my favorite characters. I think Seth is a Simon role, B. I can agree with that. Zhu Yuan's going in A tier. Ellen's also going. Ellen for the longest time was my favorite character until Yanagi and Miyabi came out. And if it weren't for Miyabi, actually, even though I have Miyabi, I have considered pulling Ellen at least twice because I just like her. I like the faction a lot. Because if I pull Ellen, I'd not only be able to use Ellen, I would be able to use Lycon. But yeah, so Ellen's like a sleeper pick for me. But if maybe later on down the line, I will pull Ellen just because I really like Ellen. Even though it's not optimal, I may just do it anyway because I like the character so much. Xinghe, I think Xinghe's gonna go. I think she'll go in A. I think out of all of the Section 6 members, she has the most personality. I think maybe. I mean, like, not to say that the other characters are bad, not by a long shot. All of them are really good. But she has like. She's the most chaotic, I guess, out of the bunch, so she sticks out the most. To me personally, anyway. Robo Freerin is my person. That is also fair, Robo Freerin. But unfortunately, I can't give her any higher than A. I think, see, Jane's one of those interesting ones where we don't see her much anymore. Which is kind of fair because it's like her whole job is to just not be seen very well. I think the lowest I can put her is B, right? Ellen's quite literally the most popular character. I understand why. She's awesome. I see Miyabi or E Evelyn, go to S. Maybe. Miyabi. I can see why. Evelyn was definitely really popular, and she had a lot of trends about her. But yeah, I think I'm gonna put Jane in B tier. Like, her trailer was crazy. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But unfortunately, like, we see these two around quite frequently in events. We did technically see Jane in the last event we had, but it wasn't very much. I'm counting people who don't play the game right. Caesar, I'm gonna put in B tier. Like, gameplay wise, she's just unique. She's really, really good. Jane's story in 1.1 is still one of the best for me. Right. Like, she's really good, but I think B tier. But yeah, I think Caesar's B. I think Bernice is A, because who doesn't like I mean, like, literally, I did this yesterday. I was playing, what was I playing? I was playing Rivals with a friend of mine, of Rivals, and we were both listening to Bernice's trailer, like the 3, 2, 1, fire, like that, the entire time. S tier pointless shower scene. That's fair. That's fair. I think Lighter's also, but yeah, I think that's fair. And then that's no brainer. Yanagi's one of my favorite characters. She's also part of my favorite faction. So like, she clean sweeps most of the competition. And then we get to Miyabi, who is a part of my favorite faction. The character that I saved 3 updates for. It wasn't 4. I think it was 4 updates for. Didn't pull a single premium until I got Yanagi to get for Miyabi. So she's going in D tier. Anyway, I thought Haramasa was really, really cool because of the bit can't go on because no one knows that's I'm being serious. Everyone knows that she's gonna be an S, so she's gonna go in S, as she deserves. I knew she would go in S. Yeah, like if you've watched any of my Zenless stuff or you've been around for a minute, my S tiers were pretty obvious what they were gonna be. I think Haramasa is also an A. Out of all the character quests in Zenless, his sticks out one of the most. It was so sad, but it was so good. It was so good. I'm gonna put, this might be a hot take. I'm gonna put her in B. No, I think she goes in A. It feels a little weird putting so many of Zenless's cast in A, but like all of them are really good. Yeah, I guess it is really weird that the only characters in D tier are like pity characters, and then some of the HSRs that are completely forgettable. And then there's a few C tiers, but most of them are in B or higher now. Okay, Evelyn. I mean, Evelyn's my second favorite character in the whole game. Like, she's awesome. She's the best. She's actually the runner-up for S tier. Runner-up in S tier. Runner-up in S tier right here. Evelyn right there. Nothing beats Ambi character quest. Ambi's character quest was very depressing. Speaking of which, Ambi. Boom. Right next to other Ambi. Trigger, also A. I'm gonna put Pultra in B. She has that really interesting thing where she starts as an antagonist, and then we get that great scene of Bernice having an absolute manic episode. I think Vivian also gets an A. Vivian has some of the best voice lines in this entire game, and it's all about Faith. And then Hugo, I think Hugo's gonna go. His like twist reveal was really, really good. Admittedly, his game, I don't have his gameplay. I don't have him. Chat, what do you think Hugo goes? I'll leave this one up to you guys because I don't know. I can see him going in B or A. No way, Hugo should be with Adventuring. Okay, I can see him being in A. Yeah, his story quest is really, really good. I mean, he and Vivi kind of shared the same quest. I don't think this one needs any talking about. Shifu goes in A, no questions asked. Funny Car goes in A. I'm gonna put Pan in B. Yeah, I put him in B. Yuzuha. I'll put. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with Yuzuha? Oil fried sugar, baby. Because Panda isn't cat. I mean, that's fair. Alice and Yuzuha have to go in A. Do they have to go in A though, chat? I mean, Alice is going in A. Every time I see Alice's face, I think of the voice actor going crazy in a character quest where it's like, I hate sideswept bangs.
I hate sideswept bangs. I hate flounders. I want to trim every asymmetrical thing in the world to be perfectly symmetrical.
I like the voice actor is so good. Every time I think of Alice, I think of that. So that alone deserves us here. But they have to? Do they have to? I mean, that's fair. I'll put her in A. And then Minato, it's not optional. That's, okay, that's fair. And I'll put Minato in A as well. Because he's not technically out yet, but he's been in a lot of the story. I told chat that I was going to try and be brutal, and my tier list is still super top heavy. But at the same time, I don't want to be unfair to characters because it's like, these characters should be in the tier that they are in. Architty could go down. I guess, yeah, I guess I can put him down a tier because he hasn't been like really relevant in a main story in a long time. He does show up for a lot of events though, which is nice. I really do need to get more familiar with the 1.x characters in Wuthering Waves because a lot of those are really shaky. I think all the Zenless ones are pretty fair. I mean, maybe I could knock Lucy down to B, but a lot of people like keep her in A, and I used her for a long time, so that's fair. I don't know. I think I could put... I legitimately think I could put Yuzuha in B. I know that might be a hot take. I like her a lot. She's fine. But she's not as... Rover's such a good character. He is probably the best main character out of the 3 listed here. Lucy stays in A. Okay, I'll leave Lucy alone. I don't know. Maybe I could knock Billy down to B, but like he's such a strong presence throughout most of the... all the way from 1.0 to 1. Like update right before 2.0. He has such a strong presence. The reveal is really cool, but outside of that, he doesn't... yeah, that's fair. And then put UNC. And yeah, I mean, him being a DPS is kind of funny because it's just not even a competition of if you should use him or not. Chat, I think I might knock down Saridra to C tier. Thoughts? Is Saridra C tier or is she B tier? Because I really just don't know how to feel about her. I kind of feel nothing towards her, which is not good. But I think all the rest of Euphoria's characters are good. Maybe I don't know so much about Saridra, but do it. That's fair. I think I'm going to. Yeah, put her in C tier. Maybe she'll go up because the next part of Euphoria's is coming out. Okay. Chat seems to agree with me. We'll put her in D tier. But yeah, because it's like a lot of the C characters are from the Zingsho Lafu. And that's just because they set up a lot of story in the Lafu and then haven't done anything with it yet. I firmly believe that we will go back to the Lafu at some point and kind of get more to do with Luocha and Jingliu and probably learn a little bit more about Blade and the general along with that. But until then, it's just kind of like they dangled this really cool concept in front of us and then yanked it away and then maybe forgot about it. Then why is Blade in B? Because he's a Stellar Hunter, he gets a little bit more sustenance than the others do, if that makes like any sense. That and gameplay wise, I'm more familiar with Blade. I use Blade a lot when one of my most borrowed characters is Blade, so I use him quite a bit in gameplay aspects. I do not use Jingli or General Jinyu1 or Luocha in gameplay aspects, so they're borrowed just from story. Like kind of like how Zenless's factions played a huge role in it. Like a lot of Bellabogs in C or D, the Stellar and Hunters as a faction are relatively quite high because I like them as a faction. I think they're really interesting. With Kafka being an S and then Blade and Silverwolf being in B, kind of evens out into A. Because Firefly's also an A. Blade doesn't have sustenance. All the extra screen time, yes. I mean, like, it's true. Like, his whole character arc is, I don't want to be here anymore. However, we have seen flashbacks with, like, Firefly where he tries to look out for her in a really awkward way, probably because he's immortal. And then we also have his really interesting interactions with Kafka using her strings, I guess, to suppress his Mara struck. So I guess, well, like, what I'm trying to say is Blade has given us answers, kind of like how the General has given us a little bit of answers about, like, the Cloud Quintet, but Blade's just given a little more. And again, gameplay. Like, I've never used the General in gameplay. I don't ever really have a want to. But I do borrow Blade quite a lot, and I quite enjoy playing him as a playable character as well. So although it is probably confusing with Blade being in B and not in C, even though yes, his character is very much I just don't want to be here anymore. The gameplay is what's carrying him to be. But yeah, I think this tier list is pretty accurate. I think this tier list is pretty set in stone now. Topaz is lower than Jade. Topaz is lower than Jade? Why? You don't deserve up there. There you go. I don't know. Actually, I think that's better. I think that's more accurate. Yeah, I think that's more accurate than bringing them up, and probably by a drastic amount. But for now, I think that this is pretty fair. I don't know much about, like, I don't remember seeing him anywhere. I only really see him because of the 50-50. She's the default one. She's like Amber, kind of, but she's actually usable sometimes. Wuthering Waves is probably going to change a lot as I get more familiar with the characters, because I need to go back and I need to do that. But even though I would try to be as brutal as possible, it's still top heavy. Like, the amount of... which I guess is fine, because that's just a testament to how good these games have gotten about making characters that you care about as a player. ZZD did a great job at presenting... ZZD did a fantastic job at presenting every character. I think out of all the games, Zenless is consistently the highest. Granted, again, Wuthering Waves is at a disadvantage because it's my least known game. So once I go back and I start doing character stories for these guys, they'll probably go up. But right now, I just don't know them very well.